Welcome to Life Hacks from the Baobab with Mayase and Clayton, where proverbs, folktales, and ancient wisdom comes to life. Would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we host our podcast, the Bonawarang and Wadawarang in Victoria, and the Kabi Kabi people in Queensland. We pay our respects to elders past and present. We have some exciting proverbs to delve into this week. So, fresh off the cab is the proverb of the week is from the Chewa people in eastern Zambia.
My name is Pelilo, and the cultural proverb that is one of my favorites is a Chewa one, or Nyanja one, actually Chewa, which is one of the languages in Zambia. And it actually says, Kadiankena mbiri nyakotswe. And what it literally means, translation in English, is that say, for instance, you had leftover food or you cooked a meal at dinner. In the morning, some of the food is missing, and everybody sort of blames it on the mouse, you know. The mouse or the mice ate it, I'm not the one that ate the food, etc. And people point fingers, siblings, for example, cousins, family members, everybody is pretty keen to blame the next person, I guess, for the food that's missing. And I guess the core or the lesson within this proverb is just, first of all, honesty, being honest. It sort of reminds us to be honest, but also to be able to take on responsibility once we've done something that is not necessarily the right thing. And it's okay to say, hey, look, I was in the wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize, or I misunderstood this and that. So, pardon me, rather than completely evading responsibility or actually denying or being untruthful, because we don't want to be blamed or we don't want to take responsibility. I hope that kind of explains it well, but pretty much kadiankena mbiri nyakotswe.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Pililo. Thank you for sharing that proverb, your favorite proverb with us. As always, we're open to all your favorite proverbs. Please send them through. We're always wanting to hear your aspects as well of how you're using proverbs in your life. Let's see. This one is interesting. What I was getting from this is like it's very easy to blame the rat or the mouse. I guess we'll call it a mouse. Like
Yeah.
it's very easy to blame the mouse for the missing food, right? It could have been somebody came in, ate the groundnuts, but you can be like, there are rats in this house. It wasn't me. So I was actually thinking about it in terms of, when we're kids, I used to love like this concoction of like powdered milk and Milo, and I would be making like a semi chocolate, but it's not really a chocolate, or, you'd steal those stuff, make it, eat it. And then when a parent or an elderly person finds out, they're like, what happened? This Milo has moved, or this powdered sugar has moved. And you'd be like, wasn't me, even though you have like
Evidence.
evidence all over you. That, particular kind of like growing up memory came to me of how easy it is to either blame others or blame, a miscellaneous thing that's in the house, or just blame, I don't know, for something that you have done and you don't want to take responsibility for. One, because you're in the wrong maybe, and you might get into trouble type of thing. But yeah, so I was thinking about like what are things in life that sometimes you don't want to take ownership of, and you just can easily just be like, but it's that person, or it's that thing, because it is a human tendency, right? And I also
Yeah.
like the analogy that the Chewas use of like a rat or I guess Pililo calls it a mouse. And in homes, mice or whatever will come in and they'll just, eat on everything. But
Yeah.
because they're easy to blame, people can then also hide behind that. They can hide behind the fact that rats are the ones that are doing this when rats are not even the ones. They didn't even come to your house that day. They were at the neighbors. But you still found them to blame. Yeah, that's
Uh,
what I'm thinking about. I'm like, what things have I not taken accountability for that I've just gone, yeah, I'm just gonna leave somebody else to kind of like take that and fall away with it.
mm. Yeah, no, this is a funny one for me. It brings up an interesting memory. Uh, when I was younger, we had this little like retail shop. You know, sold a few little goods in the neighborhood, and people would come get together and buy some stuff. So I would never get the opportunity to be the one keeping the shop because, like I couldn't be trusted. And so, but this one time, the
Were you
opportunity
taking
was handed.
all the lollies, Clayton? Is that why you were not trusted?
I mean, it's like you're in charge of everything now. The way I interpret it is like, yeah, since you're in charge, you can help yourself, right? I
You,
mean, when you're little, you don't have business sense and any of that. You don't get that side of the world. So it's like,
you don't get it.
I see something, I want to eat it, I can have it if I have access. Great. So I get the opportunity to be the one responsible for it. And I don't remember who was in charge, but they kind of like asked me to just be around and they were going somewhere real quick and they'll be back. So there I am, and there's this bread, like the buns, and
Mm.
it's a pack of I think I don't know like six, and they're fresh and they look so appealing. And I'm like, okay, I'll take a bite out of one. It should be fine, right? Like it's not a problem, right? So I take a bite. I didn't even take it out. Then leave it. But then when I'm looking at it, it looks off.
Now
Like it's
it looks
like
weird.
no, no, someone can tell that a bite was taken out of one. So guess what my solution was? Like, if I take a bite out of each, then you can't really tell, right? Like the pattern matches. So I went ahead and took a bite. And then when they get back, I leave. I'm so happy.
Just took one and left the four.
I know, right? It's like I didn't know I was making it worse. But I was like, I made it uniform. I did my bit, right? So I leave. And then I'm called back, like, hey, Clayton, you're back here. What happened here? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like this.
Where?
It's like I don't see the problem. It's like, no, you took a bite out of here. Why did you take a bite out of each? Like, how did you know it's happened? I can see. So it was like, so this proverb reminds me of that. It's like, well, unfortunately for me, I couldn't blame the mouse. Uh,
There was no mouse to be blamed that day. If there
yeah,
was, it would have been just, classic, the rats around this place. What can we say?
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think like life throws things at us, and I guess especially like in such a scenario where you see you embarrassing mistake and you need to cover it up, and you go like, I guess no, that doesn't look right. I better find someone else to take blame for that or
Yeah,
something, and in a way that it won't come back. I mean, like if mice could speak, probably won't be speaking about them in this proverb because, like,
exactly. They would just be like, no, didn't do it.
yeah,
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 and
yeah,
then I would have to find someone else.
yeah.
Uh, which also reminds me of that saying, that history is written by the victor.
Mm,
And so it's like when you're reading it, it's from the victor's point of view. You don't know what they haven't said.
yeah,
And if you had the other story of the people they vanquished, it's going to be a different story.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
thinking about it as well in terms of like critical analysis of things. Like sometimes some things are obvious and they're obvious, but sometimes they're obvious and they're the wrong answer. Or because they're so obvious, you lean towards that. You have that confirmation bias going because it's very obvious, and you don't take the chance to think critically about other areas or other things you should be looking into, because you're just kind of like, yeah, this is it, then I'm confirming this and going ahead with it. And so it
Mhm.
really also made me think about like the importance of really just doing like critical analysis on things. I've forgotten what that the actual framework is called. You know, whether you just kind of
The
like,
SWOT?
no, not this what. Where you just like write ideas and you kind of like circle them and then loop all these other ideas out of it. I've
Mm, uh,
like root cause analysis, but it's not a fishbone, but
mm,
it's like a fishbone diagram where you just kind of like critically just think of like, observe this and then think of all the different permutations that it might come into, and then think of all these. In each permutation, you go into the detail of like, what is it?
mm.
And scenario one, scenario A1, A1, two, and you keep going like that. Um,
Yeah. It's kind of like a twist on a double diamond.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, we need to do a lot more of that, because I think even in our own little echo chambers of like listening to the same things and kind of like just confirming your own things, your own biases, we don't get out
Mm.
of those. And sometimes we just need to kind of stop blaming the rat and look at who else could have eaten these bands.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. It's so important. And I love like that practice of like really critical thinking because uh it gets to things that, like the edge cases, right? Like without putting in much thought, you're not going to get to the edge cases.
Yeah.
Like a good example is the recent, cyclone that was going to happen here. And people, like we got warning like days ahead of time,
Mm,
right? And you had to go do your shopping, you had to start tying down stuff and get ready. Like if you responded in time, you were ready in time.
yeah.
However, there was the last minute responders who, by the time they hit the shops, or everything was,
Everything was,
cleared off the shelves,
yeah.
and they were kind of like, but if you really speak to these people, you also find that they also had like a high amount of doubt. They kind of like, no, we don't think anything is gonna happen. And then the last minute response is just really out of fear because of all the people who are prepared. And they were questioning the need to prepare, but the preparation is not really something you do because it's going to pay off. It's more
Mm,
like your seatbelt, right? Like
yeah.
you
When
better
you need it, that's when
yeah.
it's obvious that you need it. Yeah.
Yeah, you hope it works in the situation where you need it, but you don't want it to be used,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, it's like, yes, I don't want to be in a scenario where I'm being saved by my seatbelt, but I do hope that when, the worst comes to the worst,
It's,
that safety net is there and works. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. I was thinking also, if we think about the perspective of the rat,
Mm.
the rat who gets blamed for the missing food, even if, that they haven't um done anything. And I
Mm.
guess it's more even from like Pililo's explanation about being honest and taking responsibility and being truthful, it's also that the honesty bit is really just like a mirror to yourself, because when you can find something to be like, oh, it wasn't me that ate the powdered milk. Maybe it was Clayton. I saw Clayton in the kitchen because I know Clayton's character is a quiet character, and maybe Clayton won't push back. Clayton was just there were, we had siblings, cousins who were getting bitten for things we know they didn't do, right? You, they get bitten, you're just like, whew, like it's not me.
You got away with it.
So from that scenario, it's also like the honesty is a mirror to yourself, because sometimes you're going to blame someone who is not the person, and they're going to get the fault for it, and they're going to get the consequence for it, when
Mhm.
you're the one who should be taking accountability and responsibility. So, like,
Yeah.
just because somebody hasn't said they didn't do the thing and they've just kind of like kept quiet, shouldn't be then your it shouldn't give you the leeway to just take advantage of that so that you can kind of like get your own way and throw somebody else under the bus, and they get the consequences for something that you have done.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. And it's like really, you know, what do we call it? The Ubuntu thing, like, that kindness, that maintaining like good relationships, right? Without actively, doing that, you run into those troubles. Because, like, imagine like those siblings who got blamed accidentally, or not accidentally, but who took the blame for things that they didn't do. When they find out later and they can do something about it, that is not gonna pay off well. Like, it's just gonna start brewing this animosity between people, and it's gonna antagonize the relationships that, and should be becoming more strong bonds, and more reliable at a later point in life. But then you end up with this situation whereby, like, I never speak to that person. Why? Do you know what they did when we were little?
And yeah,
Yeah.
oh, they're like, that person cannot be trusted because this is what they used to do, type of thing. So the
Yeah.
character is like, now it's your character and you can't shake it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's sort of like, I guess, like, you have to start cultivating that responsibility taking, like owning up to things,
Mhm.
and just being truthful, being honest, maintaining good integrity, because eventually that all that unnecessary drama gets filtered out,
Yeah.
and you remain with just healthy relationships. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Great. Thank you, Chewa people. So that we shouldn't be blaming the the rats for the missing food. What are the
Yeah.
key takeaways for you for this one? What if you think about like a life hack of from this proverb, what is it for you?
The life hack I'm, kind of like leaning towards right now is, how to phrase it. Like, you really can't get away. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Like, really, you can't ever get away. It will always come back. So you may as well pay the price before there's interest. Otherwise, you're gonna pay with interest.
I like that. Pay the price before there is interest in this economy where interest rates are going up. um, Mine is really just around, I think sometimes we should not just, if something is too good to be true, it might be too good to be true. Do some
Yeah,
critical thinking about it, you know?
definitely.
Because things you're just like, they said I'll be earning $1,000 per day. Boom. It's a done deal. You don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, some things that are obvious may not be obvious. Just, take a second, take a bit and look, yeah, and do your due diligence as well. Just, yeah, make sure you're also not the rat that is being blamed for things.
Yes. Well, thank you for being a part of our community. Share your thoughts and proverbs using hashtag life hacks from the Baobab and connect with us at Baobab Life Hacks. Until next time, remember, ancient wisdom is timeless.